first acting gig.
It's not acting. You're just being yourself.
That's true. First, whatever gig. I guess I'm very curious in nature, so I became a researcher because that's really helps with my curiosity. That's just a basic sort of instinct I had. I became really interested in neuroscience after getting my undergrad degree, and it was just, the brain. It's like the final frontier, right? And so it was something that it's such a complex organ, and like I said, I was very curious, so I really wanted to solve problems, and so neuroscience was my thing. And then spinal cord injury was something that I sort of got into as a system to actually examine the plasticity of the central nervous system after my Ph.D. actually. Yeah, so spinal cord injury field is really exciting right now. Spinal cord injury, repair, regeneration. So it's a model system that we study to actually look at, like I said, the plasticity of the adult nervous system, adult mammalian nervous system, right? And so here we have a lot of new sort of up-and-coming therapies like stem cell therapy, right? But also neural engineering is a field that's emerging. And so what is neural engineering? It's really interfacing technology and the nervous system. And the nervous system being a very a system that really uses electrical signal, I guess I could say. It's a really perfect system to interact with technology, right? So such as electrical stimulation. You may have heard of epidural stimulation. So those kinds of outside stimulation that to really augment or make better or induce plasticity of the central nervous system. So those are really coming online and very exciting. The other part is like robotics, right? Neurorobotics. Those are also really interesting, where while we're trying to understand how complex the nervous system is, the kind of signal that you're producing to mediate function through your spinal cord, and when you have an injury, you don't have those complex signals coming from the brain anymore. But we can kind of use sort of closed loop stimulations, right, to really stimulate the nervous system so that you can have an output that is your lower nervous system can understand and mediate function. But those are really exciting sort of up and coming, I guess, areas of research in spinal cord regeneration. And really just our understanding of how the nervous system is so plastic still, and that it gives us a lot of hope, right? Not just to help patients, but also just the fundamental understanding of how our nervous system really is working. Roots in science. Well, I always think of this movie Gattaca. Have you guys ever seen that? So I saw it a long time ago, but it really has a really very interesting point, which is that as we learn more about ourselves and what makes us who we are, whether from the central nervous system, how plastic we are, to our genetics, to be able to see what's going on, right, with our genetics, to do it responsibly. We actually even talked about that a little bit, about stem cells, right? We touched on it a little bit. The idea of how science advances should be dealt with in society, and that kind of idea of how should we do it responsibly, how should we do it ethically, and what kind of information about you, your bioinformatics data that you have on your Apple Watch, who should have access to that. So those are really important. It impacts the entire society, and as we learn more about all of our activity and biology, who should use that? Should the health insurance company know how many steps you're taking every day? And should your insurance policy price be adjusted based on that, right? Like if you decide to smoke, people do, right? Charge you more money. Like at University of Washington, we have healthcare and ask you, do you smoke? Do you live with someone? And if you don't smoke, they give you a discount. They don't charge you more if you smoke, but they give you a discount if you don't. So there are very specific societal policies that you are going to make based on science and monitoring. And so that Gattaca movie always gets me to thinking about that, right? A little bit about how, as we learn more about our biology, how we're going to use that and how we're going to use it responsibly.